Good morning, everybody. So I'll present you with the results of a survey we conducted for the IAB France. So you may think that it's a bit off topic or a bit far from what everything has been discussed in this conference, but you will shortly see, very quickly see that it resonates a lot with everything that's been said today and of course, yesterday. So I'm the CDO of Ipsos France. Ipsos is a French company. It's still owned by its founder. And we are present in 87 countries, including the UK with Ipsos Mori. This survey has been conducted in, last year in 2 waves. And it showed that on the second wave, 36% of the French internet users were equipped with NetBlocker. And it's a 20% growth between January and October. So it's very big, it's massive. And if you add the 9% of people who said that they had completely deactivated AdBlocker the same year, it means that 45% of the population in 2016 has engaged with NetBlocker. So it's basically one internet user out of 2 who has experienced at least once an AdBlocker. And of course, it varies a lot depending on your age. So if you're a millennial, if you're, between 16 and 24-year-old, it's 55% who have an AdBlocker on their laptop or mobile. And it goes down to 26% of the people over 60. But what is very interesting is that the growth is generated by the oldest. And the over 60 have been equipped themselves, more with the 30% between January and October. Also, it's more a unique device equipment, and the mobile devices equipment remains marginal. So 70% of the French population, well, the people who own an AdBlocker have equipped their laptop, 53% their desktop, and it's beyond the 15% for the mobile devices. And of course, the equipment goes logically with the usage, meaning that the youngest are using more mobile devices. So the index is 123, and the older you are, the more you're equipping your desktop with NetBlocker. Also, it's mainly a one device equip. Is 68% of the AdBlocker users who have equipped only one device, versus 5% who have an AdBlocker on more than 4 devices. Why are they using the AdBlockers? Well, they complain a lot about the repetition of the ads and the repetition of the same ads. So they feel they are saturated with the same ad over and over and over again. Also, they feel that the pages they browse are crowded with the ads. And they think that it lacks of contextualization, so they are not properly placed on the pages and on the websites. And then they think that it should be more original, because most of the time it's either the TV ad that they see on video, or an adaptation of the print ad that they see on banners. So it's very annoying, it's very boring. And you see that the oldest are more bothered by the repetition. The youngest say that it should, that too many on the same page, and it lacks of contextualization, and women are craving for more originality. What is interesting also is that they have perfectly understood that there is an economical issue beyond that. And it's not that as if, they were totally unaware of the fact that publishers are, paying themselves with the advertising. But in a way, they say that it's not their problem. So they're quite mature about it, and there are 59% of them who deactivate their ad blocker on a regular basis, and it's up to 70% for the young people. And why do they deactivate? It's because they have to access some content, and it's a huge increase versus wave one. And but it can be, and it's the case for 26% of them, because they want to support a website, and so they don't want to prevent this website to make some money with the ad. It's a global phenomenon, so you may see that the figures are not as high as in France and especially in the US, but in Asia it's very big. And it's said that it's 615 million devices equipped with an ad blocker, and it's plus 30% this versus previous year. At the global web level, more than 1,000 websites claim to lose more than $1 million per year because of the ad blockers, and 13 say that it's more than 100 million a year. And here you can see the total loss estimate in France because of the ad blocker. So it's 5.23 million euros for Amazon. It's 3.7 million for Le Bon Coin. Le Bon Coin is the equivalent to Gumtree. It's 3.3 million for YouTube and 3.1 million for Yahoo. So it's quite huge. So the publishers tried to fight back, and this is something that has happened in the US as well. So whenever an internet user came on their website and had with an ad blocker, they would kindly ask them to deactivate the ad blockers so that they could access the content. But it was not very, very successful, because if you see the comments that people leave, on Twitter, it's just that, well, they're not going to deactivate the ad blocker as long as the problem remains. I mean, if the ads are still boring, if there are still too many of them, if they are too repetitive, and if there is still a safety issue, because this is also a reason for, equipping yourself with an ad blocker, there's no reason for them to deactivate. So, how to fight the ad blockers efficiently? And this is where, we will resonate with what has been said previously. First, we have to acknowledge the digital disruption. You don't tell people what to do. This is something that is not working anymore. The top-to-bottom communication, it's not efficient. It's not working. And if you understand the society, the world we live in, is technology feeds usage, and usage fuels technology. And this world works on a one-to-one basis. It's all about me and personalization. And so you can't tell people to do this or that. You just, have to explain them what is the benefit that they take out of doing or experiencing something, but telling people to do things does not work. So when it comes back to advertising, you have to get rid of intrusive formats, and you have to remember that it's all about experience and being in charge of the experience. And the disruptive formats that prevents you from, doing what you want on the internet is just nonsense. Also, we have to be pragmatic and logical. I mean, why would you expect internet users to change their behavior if the publishers are not changing theirs? So we have to ensure that data safety and privacy is good. Also, there is a real issue with targeting because it needs to be accurate. And yes, when it comes to the advertising creativity, it has to be creative and unique and not avoid this wear out due to repetition. Also, I think that since digital comes with great capabilities, and especially capabilities that no other media has, we have to make sure to use them with relevance. And local is very important, and local has a great card to play because local talks about people in a very specific way, and it resonates with the world they live in, and people crave for interaction, and people crave for information on how they live and how good is their living. And so there's a good way to talk to people based on local information and local communication or local businesses and have them connect with consumers. And if I chose mobile and this picture of, connection to the heart, is because we know that behind this phenomenon of people wanting to experience things, it's just that they want to feel emotions, they want to live something special, and the mobile is a very effective tool for that because it directly connects with the people. It's something that you have in your hand. It's the device that you hold the closest to you, to your heart and to your head. So it might be a bit of an image, but it's actually true. It's the device that is the most effective to generate emotions. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Your surname is probably Gilbert, right? Yes. Okay, I pronounced Gilbert, the American way. All right, okay. So excellent presentations, all sort of in the broad sense thematically tied together around the benefits of location and local as a way to establish a heart connection, to get visibility in all these new form factors, and to also overcome some of the consumer resistance to advertising. So are there questions from the audience?
My question is for John. John, if I conduct a search on a mobile device or a desktop, I'll get a range of results from paid search or from natural, but on voice search, how are those results generated?
Where do they come from?
Yeah.
It depends on the different agents. So, for example, Siri is powered by, a lot of the facts from Siri come from Wolfram Alpha, okay, which is worth a look. Alexa and the Echo is from Bing. So they're using... Nice. Just ask me what you'd like. You see, I've got to stop saying the A word, all right? So, so it's coming from various different places, which kind of then comes back to this importance of, quite often when you're using these digital devices, you don't know where it's being fueled from, so you have to be correct everywhere. If you think about voice on GPS systems within cars, the big manufacturers in Audi, BMW particularly are driven by HERE. So various different places, I think, is the answer there.
Okay, but are they paid for, or are they natural results?
So they're all, today, all of this is organic. Yeah, this is all organic. This is all based upon understanding what it is that the user's searching for and then coming up with the best empirical and relevant result for that user. Now, who knows further down the line if this then might get go down a paid route. But today, my understanding is it's all organic.
Be interesting to see how long that lasts for.
Sorry?
It would be interesting to see how long it lasts for as organic search, purely.
Well, I think as users, hopefully forever.
Thank you.
I have a question for Jürgen and Agnes, because I'm going back to your statistics on the ad blockers, because I was quite surprised on how high it was in the younger generation. And to both of you, I'm wondering, I'm just trying to think what's behavior behind that. Okay, and you're teaching that generation at the university, and you probably have some statistics behind that behavior, because that surprised me that it was that high.
Well, main reason for young people to be equipped with an ad blocker is a financial one, because unfortunately it takes a long time for the ads to load on the mobile. And so it eats up their, losing the English. Yeah. And so this is the main reason. And the second one is that advertisings are not engaging. It's boring. So, and they are really tech savvy. It's easy for them to install the ad blocker, so you got it.
And it's just a better experience. So to be frank about that, if they have it on, it's a better experience. I've got media students, and I always tell them, well, you need to fund media, so don't turn on your ad blocker. And then sometimes they turn it off, but they say after 1 week or 2 weeks, it's such a bad experience right now, they don't want it. Yeah, and that's why they do it. Yeah. It's considered to be unsmart not to have an ad blocker.
Yeah, I mean, to the other end, on the over 60, they probably don't know how to do it, so it's
And talking about the economical impact, what people forget,
Yeah.
I love the data about the desktop thing, because a lot of transaction is done on desktop, so it's still stronger than mobile. So you see there on mobile, you don't have the ad block problem, because if you even add the ads, it's even lower than the apps, it's even lower than the 13%, because we're spending most of our time in messengers, in social media apps, and then email app, and then browser. So it's basically you can even ignore it, right now. This might change, but there's not that much going on mobile. But on desktop, it's really has a huge economic impact.
There are other. Oh,
We got a question back there.
Thanks. About voice and not being on the pay route yet, but if it goes down the pay route, what do you expect it to be? What kind of monetization do you expect there will be in a voice? Because it will be different to listings we know these days, because nobody will listen to 10 listings in a row.
Well, and this is why I think that there will be great resistance to a paid result on voice and through digital devices, is because this is a utility to servers. If you think particularly around Apple, Apple are not looking to put great data on maps to drive revenue. They're doing this because they want the experience to be fantastic. And I think the moment that some of these manufacturers go down this route and kind of step over the line, they will lose these devices will lose value. I'm not convinced that paid results will move that fast, just because it's about relevance. I mean, it links into ad blocking. Why do people switch off ad block? Why do they have ad blockers? It's because this stuff's not relevant. It needs to be relevant. People need to understand users and serve relevant messaging. And organic is relevant because it's in line with what did I just ask for, and it's giving me an answer based upon my search.
Just one remark, but you also have to have in mind that the number of results in your set, it's even important if they are inflated, but they are a little bit inflated, because what they include is also what's called device action search. And this means you open an app, so you search via voice, open me this app, and they count it as a search. So what's important is, I believe that the first wave of monetization will be trying to sell subscriptions to different services that have a better performance on the voice enablement. So for the search business, I don't know how it will work with paid search. Yeah, I think there have been some reports. You can look it up. I haven't looked into that detail, but Google did a test with ads on their Google Home device, and they stopped it because people were very, very annoyed. It was a very close test, but I think there is even some reporting about that. I can't tell you the details, but you can look it up.
Okay.
So I just had one final question, which was about taking all of what you've said collectively together. A kind of a knee-jerk response that I had is social media. owning the relationship, circumventing the need to advertise at all, and even bypassing search as a way to connect with the customer. Can you respond to that? So what you're each saying in a certain way is the challenge of connecting with the customer, getting visibility, reaching the ultimate consumer, beating the competitors. My thought was, well, just avoid search entirely, although that's a stupid piece of advice. Just go entirely through social media, an organic connection, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, so on and so forth, and build up your audience that way and let your audience do the work for you. Can you respond to that?
You want to start? So first of all, I disagree because it's these are different use cases. So on the one hand, if you search for something, you now want to have this information right now, and there's a lot of search going on, especially with local. So of course, if you search for something new, you have to go through search. The fact is, of course, that social media is the fastest growing channel right now. If you look in the overall growth of the advertising, it's basically Facebook. We don't have to talk about social media right now because it's basically Facebook. And Facebook is growing that much because it uses the other use cases. The remarketing use case is strong. The customer relationship use case is strong. So there are new use cases that are answered by Facebook. And this is what you have to think about because getting new customers is very expensive. Harvesting your existing customer, harvesting people who are already prospects can be very lucrative. And that's why these are two use cases, and the social media use case is very valid, but it's only one use case. Search will not go away.
I completely agree. I think social media is search. It's just another channel. It's just not what you would broadly understand as to being search or what we've historically understood to be search. But if I'm on Instagram, if I'm on Pinterest, if I'm on Snapchat, if I'm on Facebook, I'm searching. I'm searching for content. And it's a search engine. It just looks slightly different.
Yeah, and social media is a very demanding media, and it needs a strategy. And, social media is crowded with failure, with brands failing to provide, interesting content because they talk about themselves. And on social media, they are the only one that nobody wants to hear about. I mean, unless you have a great story to tell. And it's very hard to have a great story to tell. So a lot of brands say, yes, I'm on social media, so I'm putting my TV ad on Facebook. Well, good for you. Nobody cares. So it's very difficult. Organics, Facebook is the first to say that organic is dead, meaning people don't come visit your page unless you have something to provide them with. So this is long gone. And my personal feeling is that Facebook is playing with fire today because, yes, they are monopolizing the advertising market, especially with the video. But I'm afraid that they will saturate the people with their ads.
Well, okay, final comment because we're...
No, not a comment, a question for you. Do you have data on search happening on Facebook? Because I don't see this use case. I often hear about it. I see it with Pinterest and stuff like that. But people searching on Facebook, I always see them browsing with the fingers. What's the data on that?
I don't have any statistics, but I think I was just saying that it's a source of intelligence. And then therefore that intelligence is either something that is being curated for you, but ultimately it's based upon your browsing behavior is kind of proxy for a search.
All right, so thank the panelists for their comments and their insights. Now we have a 15-minute break.
Yeah, we're going to take a small stretch break, and please come back afterwards. We're going to have another discussion with a few panelists, really, really great panelists, David Walmsley from House of Fraser, Sven Anderson from Mono, and a few, Sandy Golan Balandra from London College of Fashion. So please come back. We have about a 15-20 minute break right now.